Mm. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are on this lovely full moon. I'm going to do a brief 5-card reading that came up for this full moon, and we're going to dive into these 5 cards. I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible so the message is clear and concise. And at the end, I'm going to be doing a few 1-card readings for some of the names that pop up. So if you're interested, throw your name down there. So, welcome to this full moon in February 2024, and let's have a look at this 5-card reading that I've got for you all. So I'm going to show you all the cards to begin with, and then I'm going to go through this reading. And obviously this is a reading with 5 cards that can be dived into from many different angles, and we can read the cards and read the meanings in many different ways. So feel free to throw your own interpretations on what comes up. And obviously the most important and richest thing that we can do with any reading is to identify it identify with that reading in a personal way. Make it personal for yourself, make it your own, and in this way we can find something that's useful for ourselves. So the first card is going to be the most important one, or the one that sets the tone for the whole reading, and it's this Ace of Pentacles reversed. I'm going to throw you all these cards out. The other 4 cards came out in 2 pairs. So I'm going to show you exactly the 2 pairs, and then we'll read them in the same way. So the next 2 cards were the reversed King of Swords and this 5 of Swords. So 2 swords coming up with a very clear message of mental twistedness there, which we'll dive into. And the other 2 cards were the Hermit, which seems to come up quite a lot these days. I love this card, or at least seems to be in the energy in the air for these readings, at least. And we have the 6 of Pentacles, which has an interesting mirror to the Ace that's reversed as well. Both those cards are the right way up. So let's have a look. First of all, there are many ways to translate this card, this reversal, this Ace of Pentacles. And I'm going to take a step back and look at one thing that is often not recognized, or not the common interpretation of this card, which is, okay, so this pentacle represents an opportunity, a gift from God, whatever you want to say it, however you want to see it and call it. And a lot of the time, this opportunity will resonate or reflect in actual material opportunities in our lives, where our life is offering us something. We're having an opportunity is in front of our faces, where we can actually say, oh, do I want to do this? Is this something that we actually physically do, or choose to do, or choose not to do? So that's a very kind of day-to-day superficial way of reading this card. And when I say superficial, not in a light way, but that's the lighter way of reading this card. But there's another way of seeing this opportunity, or this pentacle, because this is the big pentacle, this is the big story, and that opportunity reflects, in a broader sense, the opportunity of our incarnation. So the opportunity of us being here, having a physical body itself. And part of what this reversal speaks about is not realizing, or maybe even negating in some way, the gift that this incarnation actually is. It's something that we overlook. It's something that we don't pay attention to so much. We don't look at our lives and go, oh my gosh, look, I've actually got a physical body. And we don't look at it because we take it for granted. Everybody seems to have a physical body. We relate to everybody. So nobody seems to be making a big deal about it. But it's quite a big deal. I uh, this card came up, or this energy came up when somebody was speaking to me not too long ago in a session I was giving, about someone they knew who, you know, who didn't really want to be incarnated in this body, but wanted to step into the spiritual realm and be, um, and find their way back home, which I feel is all of our job, or all of our desire on some level. But we as souls, we chose to incarnate here. We got on the waiting list, and we queued up for a body to jump into, in a way. And and we were incredibly attracted to the physicality of a 3D separate world experience, and the lostness and the forgetting nature and the darkness and the duality that all of this incarnation story involves. We chose it, we picked it. It was an honor to be able to come in and have this experience, no matter how delicate that experience might seem, how dodgy it is sometimes in our lives. It was still an incredible choice. And we kind of won the lotto in a way to come here, even though it seems like lots of people won the lotto. There is this that we still take it for granted. And so this opportunity is an opportunity to live something out and to experience separation in a way which is normally not available in soul's experience, to actually have something very, very 3D mundane like in nature. And so this part of what this card represents is, hey, let's practice, or it's pointing at the idea that let's practice remembering how much of a wonderful opportunity this is. Now, if we don't remember that on the bigger scale, we're not going to remember it on the little scale. We're not going to see all the little tiny opportunities that life presents to us, and we're not going to see them as anything special. We're not going to see them as a gift from the divine, whereas each and every experience that we have is precisely that. And it's very easy to think that some things are a little bit more beautiful and obviously divinely sent, and others, well, obviously not so divinely sent. But they all are. They all are. And the idea that they're not is part of what this twisted king comes to speak about. So we have these two cards here, and this twisted king here is projecting a bunch of ideas, as we do in our lives, a bunch of ideas that are a little bit twisted, that are a little bit upside down, that are 180 degrees from our truth, from our deeper sense of reality. And and yet we believe wholeheartedly in separation stories because we're taught to. We believe wholeheartedly in rights and wrongs and goods and bads, which there's a purpose and there's a genuine need to have a certain belief in such things as well. But when we get really, really attached to those rights and wrongs and those goods and bads, when we hold on to them fiercely as if this is the one truth and the only truth, and my truth is the way, then we get a little bit self-righteous. And that self-righteousness is going to make us want to fight, and we'll struggle and we'll fight to be right. We'll fight to be the to make our ideas the most important ones, to put them above everybody else's. Now, in our lives, a lot of the time that's important. We have to find a certain moral code and ethic and righteousness inside of our lives so that we can guide ourselves in a way which feels right for us. But it's not going to be for everybody. Our ideas are not going to be those that everybody needs to buy into. And we see a lot in this world today that there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting to promote beliefs, to promote ways of thinking, to say, hey, I'm right, you're wrong, and to try to ridicule the world, put everybody else, put everybody else down, make everybody feel small, because I'm obviously so right. And while there's some comedy in this, if we want to, and I love comedy, it's brilliant, there's also a certain seriousness which feels like conflict. And whenever our righteous belief stories that we throw out there in the world and that we share with other people create conflict and create more separation and more division in the world, then I think that we're missing the point. And I think that these are part of the ideas which block us from really embracing this whole experience of life that is presented for us. And when we find that our beliefs are creating more issues than they are solutions in our lives, or when they're putting people down and making people feel small instead of lifting them up and raising the world around us, then this is a great sign to understand that maybe there's a twisted way of thinking that we need to correct, that we need to maybe reprogram and ask ourselves and challenge ourselves a little bit about. And if there's a positivity to this card, then it's the challenging of our own beliefs. Let's challenge our own ideas to see if we can find the right and the wrong and the good and the bad, and the bad and the good, and understand that there is always going to be a genuine dualistic nature in this world, with all of the ways of thinking that we hold on to. And it's these ways of thinking that are primarily separating us from not experiencing the appreciation for the incarnation that we're actually here, and realizing that there's this opportunity of life is more of a gift than we realize it. And I think that maybe, on the moment of our death, when we jump back out and we look and we go, oh my gosh, what a bunch of wasted opportunities I might have had, and how I really didn't I took for granted this amazingness of life on a moment to moment level. And it's a hard thing to remember, because we've taught ourselves to take this world for granted, and to take our bodies for granted, and to take 3D reality for granted, because, yeah, obviously it's going to appear with lots of challenges and not always amazing experiences. And so it's going to promote those more negative judgments. And what we don't realize is it's actually those negative judgments that are promoting the negative experiences. And that's a little bit about what these two cards speak about. So here we have the Hermit, and the Hermit is coming along to show and to light his path, our path. Now, this is us standing wherever we find ourselves to be, and taking a look at the journey that we've made, and highlighting that journey, or at least showing the world that journey. So we're showing the world the journey that we have made. It's not a journey that everybody needs to make. It's not a journey or a path that everybody is going to choose. It's a very specific path that we have made, and that will resonate, and it will trigger and inspire a certain few in this world, but definitely not everybody. And it doesn't need to inspire everybody. We don't need to have chosen the right path for everyone. We don't have to be right. We don't have to be the perfect people for everyone. And there's going to be some people that are going to look at our path and go, that's not for me. That looks to be completely wrong. And that doesn't, that's not a lack of validation of our path. It just means that that's not for them. That's not where they need to be. That's not the journey they have to make or have to take in their lives. And it's really important. It's really important that our journey is the lonely one. It's the one that we've done on our own. It's very specific to us. It's very personal. And this isn't a message just about, yeah, let's just shine the light and we don't have to focus on the darkness. No, it's not just about a blind lighting the bright light of spirituality. It's showing, hey, there's some dodgy nooks and crannies and slips and falls and mistakes that have been made. And I'm going to light up the whole lot. I'm going to show the whole lot so that everybody can see all of the failures that I've made, all of the trips that I've made in my path, and so that this can inspire other people to maybe get up from their fall, and to, when they see themselves tripping, to catch themselves and to maybe break their fall a little bit. And then we have this Six of Pentacles, which is this card of self-worth and showing that you actually receive exactly what you get. And this then comes full circle back to the Ace of Pentacles reversed, which is the first card in this reading. And it comes full circle because this is saying, yeah, when we look at this world, what's really difficult for us to recognize about this world is how many delicately dodgy, terrible, bad, wrong things are taking place in this world. And they're very easy to see. It's very easy to look into this planet and everybody running around doing their own thing, living out very conflicting truths and realities, and seeing how fundamentally different one part of the world is from another, and looking at all of the delicate beliefs that people hold on to, and the there may be sometimes severe actions that come from those beliefs, and to look at that and go, wow, but this is, this world is so messed up. It's so all over the place. It's so wrong. How can this be right? Look at my life. I'm so messed up. I'm so wrong. How could I ever be right? How could this physical incarnation ever be an amazing opportunity? It's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of changing our mind about things. Are we ready to? Are we able to? Do we know how to? Are we willing to? Do we want to change our mind? Do we believe that we can change our mind? Or do we believe that we are stuck in the patterns of our ancestors forever and ever? Amen. Are we able to move out of what is fundamentally this sense of lack or sense of low self-esteem that will block us? And one of I think that the importance about these two cards, this the reversed King and this Five, that a lot of what this King is speaking about and sharing inside of our own heads are thoughts of fear. And if you look into the world today, there's a lot of sharing, as the King loves to do, thoughts of fear. And this isn't anything new. This is an old story. But it's such a habitual old story that we've taken that for granted too. We think, oh, the sharing of fearful stories is natural and normal, and that's part of what we need to do. And it's not like, it's not that sharing fearful ideas or ideas that make us afraid it's actually wrong. It's just very limiting, and it's going to close us up. It's going to make us less open and receptive to this wonderful gift of the Ace of Pentacles that's on offer. We're not going to be very open. So whenever we open our mouths and share something, are we sharing something that's fear based? Are we sharing something that is going to shock the people around us? That's going to encourage people to be a little bit worried. Oh, you have to worry. Oh, you got to be careful with that. Oh, yeah, you better. Oh, you better watch out because, and this, we might be not be doing we might be doing it with the best intention. Or I just want you to know that it's really delicate, and if I don't tell you, then you won't know, and if you don't know, then there's a lot of this narrative going on where people are sharing fearful stories and fearful ideas in the name of enlightening the world. Yes, because you have to know all about this conspiracy, about that and this and the other. Because if you don't, yes, if you're not afraid enough, then you won't be able to be prepared when you need to be prepared. This is complete lunacy in a way, because fear doesn't prepare you very well at all. And promoting sharing fearful ideas and fearful beliefs is actually bringing the energy of everybody down and keeping everybody closed and making people not always willing to embrace and accept and own the reality that their life asks them to own, asks us to own. We're asked on a day-to-day basis to take responsibility for what's going on. Are we going to go, oh no, it's not my fault, I'm just this little guy and I just deserve to be given whatever? Are we going to take responsibility? Are we going to grab this and take responsibility for this incarnation and stand up for ourselves and stand up for what we know is true? Because if we do, it won't be holding on to the ideas that are going to create more conflict between ourselves and the world around us, and going to be fear-based belief systems. It won't be sharing those ideas. That's not what walking our heart's line actually looks like. I try to be quite careful about sharing fearful stories, but and we have to share negative stuff. It's not about just being all light and peace and love and walking the spiritual light type way and ignoring the dark. It's not about that. It's more about what is the core message that we're bringing up. Are we holding a light of a solution to share? Hey, I made it here. This has been my set of failures and solutions. Are we going to hold that light up and share solutions with the world? Or are we just going to share ideas that may wake people up, may make people listen to us because people love to be scared, but do not actually encourage people to grow, to expand, to take responsibility for their own lives and for what we are creating? We chose to put on this virtual reality headset of a body and incarnate in this reality. We chose that. And if we then come down to earth and spend a lot of the time bitching about what this reality is, then we're missing the point. So let's maybe embrace the fairness that this world actually holds, the precise mirror that this world is of every single one of our twisted beliefs, and how beautiful an opportunity we have to realize that and to correct any of those beliefs and to change and to turn those those thought patterns into something different, and how we can recognize our own inner poverty and take responsibility and move into a more abundance manifestation that really reflects that gift from God in a much more realistic way. And well, this is the reading. I hope you resonate in some way this full moon. I'm going to do a few one-carders for those that are online with me, and thank you for joining. So, there's a few names and words, and because not many people are joined today, I might be able to get through all of you. Who knows? Patricia Brady. I'm going to draw a card for you if you'd like. If you're with me, stay with us down, just to take a few deep breaths. Okay, Patricia, I'm going to come back to you. That's obviously not the time right now. Maybe you're not online, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. We'll see. Alice, I'm going to draw a card for you if you're there. When a card doesn't come, it doesn't come, and you don't have to fight it. Well, there's a tendency to fight it sometimes, but that's not the point. We can. There's sometimes it's the timing, sometimes there's the right and the wrong space. We have to be a little bit open intuitively to figure out when those times are and how we can be in tune with the synchronicities of the universe in instead of just fighting it and going, no, my way or the highway type story. Anyway, Alice, we have the Two of Swords for you. I'm going to give you a short message here. So there's a crescent moon in this picture, lots of water. And there's a duality of choice that comes up in our life sometimes, where we're struggling to, or not necessarily struggling, but when we're faced with opportunities of which the one pattern doesn't really highlight itself. It doesn't seem to be completely clear what is the best choice that we need to make in our lives. And this happens maybe on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we just make the choices like that. This is a message that's coming through for you to maybe not necessarily make all your choices like that, but allow some of them to come through very clearly, but then question other ones, because the part of our choice making that's automatic, in other words, really quick and fast, and we don't think about it, is a choice making that comes from a subconscious programming. And part of this message is for you is to maybe practice questioning that programmed choice making story. And as you question it, breathe into your heart and see if you can't pull in a choice from this level of your body instead of some level of subconscious programming. You'll feel a difference just by interrupting the autopilot choosing. You'll automatically step into a different level of where you can make a choice from, and where you can see and feel highlighted ideas manifesting and finding what seems to fit you properly. Anyway, that's a quick message for you. Salma, is it? Sorry, yeah, I don't have my glasses on, but so I'm going to squint at everybody's name. Salma, if you're around, I'm going to draw a card for you. Well, that was quick. The Chariot reversed. So, Salma, the Chariot is this card is asking you to find a little bit of bravery, fearlessness, and to dare to make some choices on your own. And what this might mean for you is to dare to reach out to experience something in life, in your life, that you may normally think about doing with a lot of other people, but you can do on your own. And to dare to step into an area of experience, or dare to say yes to an experience that may be definitely outside of your comfort zone, but has incredible opportunity for growth and expansion for you. If you know what this is, or if such an opportunities are not necessarily presenting themselves right now, be open, because there's a resistance in you to actually step into a new type of experience, or taking a new level of responsibility for your life. And Chariot reverse really wants you to step into that and feel how strong you are, how capable you are, and how rich part of your life can be if you make this choice. Anyway, there's an idea for you. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Laser Kaufman. If I bastardize your name, I apologize completely, but here's a card for you. Okay. Okay. The ace of Pentacle. The Ace of Pentacles actually is what is this pentacle that this young character, this beautiful page, receives, and she receives this opportunity. And if there was a part of this reading that resonated with you, Laser, that you could feel a certain amount of resistance to some opportunity stories coming up because of some ways of thinking, then this page is about finding your innocence again. It's finding that purity. So the beauty of the pages or the beauty of their message, more like, is really finding our innocence once again. And it's an innocence which makes us, naive on some level. And we've been taught that naivety is not a great quality. We've been taught that naivety gets us into trouble, because it has done, right? Makes us gullible and makes us appear to be a little bit stupid sometimes. But there's a purity in this innocence that is incredibly rich, and the richness is finding that childlike openness, that really breathes it's like an inhale of fresh air into our life, where we can go, yes, where we go, okay, bring it on. And it's that bring it on sort of innocence where we don't even think about saying no. We just feel open. We feel appreciative, and we feel excited about life. So this page is asking you to find that excited nature, that excited quality of life that really wants you to step into something new, and to say yes to something in a beautiful way that might be coming your way. It's a gift from the divine, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, Sun Queen. Good morning. Morning to you. Let's breathe and see what the Sun Queen's message is. Ooh. Oh, yes, I felt something come out there. Where is she? Okay. The reverse 10 of Cups, one of my most trashed cards. So this card is bringing up more questions, and I'm going to throw some questions out here. This is more going to be a question story for you, Sun Queen, if you're willing to and open to ask yourself these questions. Am I no, the biggest question is, do I believe that I can have my cake and eat it? Do I believe that I deserve abundance of love and joy? Do I think that that's for me? And do I want it? Fullness of love and joy. Just a question or two there for you. Julia, I'm going to call a card, bring a card for you. And I'm sorry if I'm going to do a few more one cards, and I apologize if I don't get down to your names. I will. I can't do everybody, I'm afraid. Limited amount of time, but I'll do a few more and try and squeeze more one carders in. But Julia, if you like to take a deep breath with me. Okay. The reverse 3 of Pentacles. Some more Pentacles coming up today. Here we go. So if you look at this card, this is a card of collaboration. Let's see what might come through this card. Interestingly, there's this idea of collaboration that is more outwardly orientated in your mind than inwardly orientated. And I don't know if this is going to resonate, but let's see if it does. If this resonates with you, if not, twist it so that it does. Part of the message here seems to be about you focusing on your own inner collaboration instead of the outer collaboration. Now, what I mean by that is that when we think about working and doing things in life, we're naturally going to be doing things with other people. um, and we're naturally going to be focused on what everybody else wants and how we can, make this a harmonious exchange and a beneficial collaboration with people around us. And this could be people we work with, it could be the family members too. But there's something missing in your own inner collaboration, and what that means is are your thoughts really aligned with what you're doing? Are your ideas and your bigger picture and your plan and your heart, is your heart and sense of purpose really aligned with what you're doing? Because I think asking yourself whether the work that you're doing or the things that you're doing in a day-to-day basis is actually aligned with a higher sense of purpose inside of you, or whether it's aligned with the way you believe you should be working, or what you feel you should be doing in your life. If if the if there's not a harmony, if there's not a collaboration between these different aspects of ourselves, then it's asking you to recalibrate, maybe, or to have a check-in, and check in with what you feel is, or what you know is actually important. Forget about making things work on the outside with other people. It's not doesn't seem to be about that right now, but it's more about making things work on the inside. Because if you can act from a place of what you might call integrity or authenticity, because it feels aligned with both heart and mind, then the outer collaborations will be a lot effortless in nature anyway, and they're secondary to that inner communication and that inner connection as well. So maybe think a little bit about that. I don't know if that resonates. I hope so. Right, I'm going to pick a few more names. The oh my goodness me, sorry. The something village. I can't do. I need to put my glasses on to read that. Okay. Creatopia. No wonder I couldn't read it. Creatopia Village. Okay, fun name. Okay, we'll go for that. You can just read with me a moment or two. Okay, that was quick too. And I'm going to get back to Patricia as well after this. So here we go. So the Creatopia Village. So there's a village in the back there. Maybe it's your Creatopia village. Anyway, let's see what message is important here with this Five of Cups. Yeah. So while this card is one of the conflicting fives, because the fives always show there's a little bit of inner conflict in these cards. And while this does show a little bit of conflict, there's a wealth and a richness that can be found in experiencing and allowing ourselves to feel the loss and the grief. If there's a loss or some grief that comes from missing something or losing something or not having something or not feeling enough in some way, allow yourself to feel it, but not in a, oh, I'm going to hide myself away type feeling and make sure that I'm not showing anybody else any of this story. There is a nature of our darker stuff in our life needs to be felt by us first before we can then share it safely with anybody else around it, if perchance we need to. And so there is this closed offness of this big dark cloak that allows us to go inside and feel it. And part of the message here is allowing yourself to go inside and feel what's been lost. If we don't do this, we we don't understand the contrast of where we actually want to be. There can be a habit of doing this, and we can find ourselves closing off and just focusing on the dark and what's not right and what's not good enough and what feels painful, and that sadness and the shame and the fears. And we can focus just on that and get into a habit of it, or we can allow ourselves to acknowledge those feelings and now allow ourselves to acknowledge the humanity of whether it's fear, sadness, loss, or grief, to experience that and to acknowledge it as a valid experience instead of bypassing it, and then make a choice. If we go into acknowledging those feelings consciously, then we can consciously choose to come out, turn around, take that cloak off, and look at the beauty that our life still holds. But if we resist consciously experiencing it and we kind of push things away, we might get into some automated program of needing to experience it over and over and over and over again without understanding why we're attracting similar darker type emotional experiences that may not necessarily be necessary for us to hold on to forever. So question our ability to actually go in and feel those darker emotions and just witness them. Don't judge them. Don't be afraid of them. Just witness them. And then see from that space of witnessing, we can make a choice of coming out. Steffi, I'll draw a card for you. I'm going to do 2 more cards after this. And one of them is going to be Patricia. Steffi, this is a card for you. Take a few deep breaths. Okay. Again. Whoa, lots of upside down pentacle stories. We have a king reversed, Steffi, here. So if this king is in your life, it might well manifest as some type of man in front of you, some type of male figure in some in front of you, some sort of father story going along, or not. But there is a twisted nature to this king. So, and it's not important to recognize him on the outside, but to see who this king is on the inside. And so let's have a look and see what the most important message for you is. So part of the message here seems to be about how holding on to things and letting go. So this king is wonderfully attached to his environment. When I say wonderfully attached, he is normally very healthily attached to his environment, healthy in a way where his connection with the world around him is so intimate that he feels into the needs of all those people around him. He feels into trying to create the best, harmonious, beautiful, abundant, fantastic environment for those people around him. And he does a good job at holding material space and creating this a certain level of affluent abundance for people to experience and to feel good about who they are and about where they are and about sharing space with you. When he's reversed like this, there's a certain over-attached nature to try to make everything perfect. I don't know if this is you. I don't know if you resonate with this sense of perfectionism that this king sometimes brings out. And part of the message is perfect isn't always the most ideal outcome. Perfect is sometimes the sloppy outcome that's done in 5 seconds because 5 seconds is all you've got. That's perfect. Perfect is sometimes, bit of mess, bit of chaos, because because I don't have time to clear the mess and the chaos so much. Or my time is more important. My time creates more of a feeling of a perfect way of living than having everything looking meticulous or looking specific or needing to be a certain way. So when life doesn't necessarily match how you want it to look, and that includes you and your body, practice recognizing the perfection of how little imperfections and little differences and a bit of chaos can also be seen and judged as perfect. Patricia, if you're online still, I'm going to do a card for you. Take a few deep breaths. I'm going to do one more after this. Okay. There. Maybe that's why it didn't want to come out at the beginning. The Death card. So the Death card is a wonderful message of deep transformation. It's a major arcana card, so if you have a chance to dive into the meaning of this card and look a little bit further into what this might represent for you in your life right now, then I would highly recommend it. But I'm going to give you a quick message that might resonate just for now. So change is something that we all would like a little bit of. There's always some aspect of our life which we would like to see a little bit of change in. And while we might, resist a lot of change sometimes, or not always embrace every aspect of transformation that life is presenting to us, we still want some of it. We're not always willing, however, to die. And when I say we're not willing to die, that doesn't mean a material death, a physical death, not killing our bodies. We're not willing to let go of something old. But when the Death card comes up, you are. You definitely are ready to let go of something old. And if you can see it, if you can recognize that you're in a letting go period, then practicing deep, strong exhale of release and surrender. Like this. Releasing any aspect of your life that you know is ready to leave you. Any set of beliefs that you have trained yourself and ready to drop. Any way of living that has become so outdated, it's rotted and doesn't really belong to the healthy version of who you are. Breathe it all out, let it all go. Surrender it all to the earth and to the sun. The last card, I'm afraid. Okay, Poonam Bishit. Okay, why not? Why not? And let's see if you're online or if a card wants to come out at all. Yes, it does. Okay. So the Six of Swords reversed, and a very simple, quick message here. There's a tendency sometimes to rush into creating some types of changes. You know, like when we see something that we want, oh, let's go and do it straight away. If you feel that there's sometimes you're impatient and you rush into choices, you rush into opportunities to make changes in your life, to make some shifts in your life, then see if you can make those choices for change without this and the need to rush into it, without this need to dive into change or to make something happen with impatience. If the energy or the intention behind your actions is an impatient one, or is one that is not necessarily you guiding yourself consciously to where you want to go, but just going, oh yeah, I want to do that, and go and do it straight away. There's this card sometimes calls for a more conscious focus about how to go from where you are to where you want to be, and maybe the step-by-step slow journey that is required in order to make that happen. Because sometimes you may jump into doing, you may be wasting a lot of effort thinking that you're doing the right thing, when in reality taking a little bit of extra time to plan the story, to see where it is you want to go, may well help you be more efficient in the rowing of this place from one place where you need to be mentally to another place. And there's an important thing about this, is that a lot of the time we think, well, in order to create a different reality, I need to do something different. Yeah, yes, you do, but you also need to change the way you think in order to create different realities. So maybe you need to ask yourself, well, how can I change the way I think in order to create the reality that I want? Have a wonderful full moon for the rest of you guys. If it's early in the morning, then great. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me again, and I wish you all the best. And I'm going to end this stream here. Much love to you all. Take care.